They are on the battlefield against the enemy, but unfortunately their enemies are not only humans, but also wild animals in the ocean. One by one of them did not survive, so they had to decide how to survive. This new troop is being prepared to be sent to the battlefield against the enemy. They are in Australia preparing everything. They must be trained so they can survive longer on the battlefield. One of them, of course, is not born for this. His name is Will, but luckily there is a good man named Leo who is willing to wait and help him to get to the finish line. Even though they came last, their leader gave them a break so that a man named Day did not accept it. Why are only the two of them allowed to rest while they are not allowed? In battle, soldiers not only carry weapons, but also protect each other, and that is what Leo did to Will. Due to this incident, Day became annoyed with them, maybe even resentful. There they continued to train and train. There are many things they have to learn, including how to fight and survive. One time Leo and Day got into a fight. They fought in the water. But with his skills in the water, Leo managed to defeat Day, making him look embarrassed. After undergoing a short training, they were sent to the battlefield to help others. They used a ship to cross the Timor Sea, but unfortunately, in the middle of the journey, their ship was attacked by the enemies so that many of them did not survive, while the ship was destroyed, leaving only pieces. Leo survived and managed to bring Will out of the water. At that time, Will heard their leader's voice screaming as if he had been attacked. But he didn't know for sure what attacked him. Leo and Will tried to gather their friends. One by one they gathered, including Day, who was also safe. They didn't have adequate medical equipment to treat their wounds. Moreover, they also brought very little food. Their only hope was to take a boat across which was equipped with a propeller motor so they could get out of the sea. Unfortunately, they weren't alone there. There was something underwater waiting for them, big and ferocious. That was the great white shark. The slightest splash of blood that dripped into the water would immediately devour them. Some of them had already fallen victim to the shark's wetness. So Leo and Will had to find a way so they could quickly get the boat. The problem was that no one dared to swim to get it until Leo dared to take the boat with his swimming speed. It was really risky, but he had to while the others prepared to hold the rope that would later be attached to the boat. Leo's efforts felt heavy because he had to face the wild animal, but in the end he got to the boat and his friends brought him back. Unfortunately, there was a broken engine component, so they couldn't start the engine. They needed equipment, and on the other hand, the shark continued to surround them, waiting for an opportunity to prey. That night was still tense. Da, who was scared, slept while holding a grenade, but he accidentally released the pin, so one of his friends had to sacrifice himself to protect Leo and the others. The problem didn't stop there. Hunger made them even more frustrated. Moreover, the food that Leo had stored was eaten all by one of their friends. Besides that, they also had to survive the hot sun and thirst. Will had read an article that they could drink urine in an emergency. Without thinking twice, Leo put his urine in a can and drank it. Whether they wanted to or not, the others tried to do the same thing. Then not long after it rained, and they felt very unlucky. That night, Leo hallucinated meeting his brother, who turned out to have died because he became a shark meal. Leo tried to help him by getting into the water, but luckily Will and the others pulled him out. A few moments later, they heard the sound of an incoming plane. They thought it was a plane in their camp, but it turned out to be an enemy plane. The plane fired a barrage of shots, hitting one of their friends. Meanwhile, Leo, Will, and Day dove into the water for cover. When the plane returned, Leo shot at it until it was brought down. Leo was shot, but not in a vital part. After dealing with the enemy plane, Leo had to deal with Dash's ego. Dash should have protected his friend who was shot by the plane, but instead he threw him into the water to become a shark meal. They fought until one of Day's hands went into the water and was attacked by a shark. Since then, Day turned pale and had to get medical help immediately. Then, not long after, Will saw a Japanese man approaching on a raft holding a samurai. Will had one grenade left, and Day asked him to throw it at the approaching man. Unfortunately, Will refused and felt that the man was not a threat. Will was wrong because the man actually attacked them, so Leo had to help him. While fighting with Leo and Will, the Japanese man dropped a small nuke and was caught by Day. Dee then grabbed the Japanese man's leg and exploded with him. Now only the two of them were left, and one grenade that might be the solution so they wouldn't be tortured there. But Will found a toolbox. They fixed the boat's engine and prepared to leave. Before that, Leo dove into the water and put a grenade into the shark's mouth as revenge for his friends and his brother.